So I wanted to make this video for multiple reasons. One, to talk about the Mac, talk about the iPhone, and then also prep as I make a video for another topic, which is actually health data. So the first thing we're going to do is copy everything over. And here we're operating at some version of USB 3 speeds, which is really good. I mean, we're, a third of the way done and we're just a few seconds in. And I mentioned the speeds of the transfer mainly because my flagship iPhone 15 still operating at USB 2 speeds, which is abysmal and more than frustrating. So here we are, 3 gigs of data, 3.5, and we're just about done right now. Fast, more than fast enough for me, for you, for anybody else. I know if I were just transferring text files, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I'm not transferring text files. I'm transferring video. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close everything. Now, the reason I want to do that is because another issue that I have with the iPhone, and I know other people complain about it, but it's just the way that iOS is that you have to, when looking at the home screen, you have to start putting your icons in that top left corner and then work your way across and then down. I mean, it's really, really structured. Why? I don't know. But as you saw, when those files were being copied over from my phone to the Mac, let's go back into that particular folder, and there's like no structure here. It's hey, you drop those files here, that's exactly where we're going to leave them. So you figure out how you want them to be organized. The computer's not going to do it for you, which is fine. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Honestly, sometimes it does get a little bit annoying. So let me just drag everything up. I mean, now it's not at the bottom of the folder or the page, but like it almost seems like iOS developers or whatever, or whoever's in charge, was like, the Mac is so loose, so unrestrained sometimes, at least when we're talking about this particular topic, that we're going to do the exact opposite of the iPhone. Like, I mean, we could just make it so that everything kind of snaps to a grid, because I should be able to do that here. I think I'm going to have to do 2 things. So sort by, snap to grid, and then that didn't work because even though it wants to go to a grid, I need to tell it how to go to that grid. So name, there we go. So now it's snapped to a grid. But I almost feel like, as I was saying, the iPhone users, like, the iPhone developers or whoever's in charge, project managers, we'll call them. We're like, we need more structure. The Mac isn't structured enough. So users won't even get the option to do stuff like that. We're going to make that decision for them. Everything starts in that top left corner. You'll work your way across and then down. And I know now users have done things to put invisible widgets or invisible icons or whatever to make it look like you're putting stuff where you want to put it, but you're still having to abide by Apple's rules. And I don't know why it frustrates me so much on the iPhone, but it really does. And here we are with the Mac, and it's the exact opposite. They're just like, hey, you bought the Mac, you figure it out. And I'm okay with that. I think I prefer that more. And also, as I mentioned, the data transfer speed's way faster. Like I don't have anything and I'm not going to do it, but the amount of time it would have taken to get that stuff off of my iPhone would have been substantially longer. And the only issue I have, which I guess it's Mac OS, is the fact that I needed to download a whole nother program. So down here you can see it's called Android File Transfer. With an iPhone, it just recognizes it. And then if I'm using a Windows PC, and I believe also a Linux PC, I mean, you just plug it in and the necessary files are there to read the file structure of Android devices. Again, on Windows machines and Linux machines, not in Mac OS. So it's always something, and I think that was just the point of this video, just to complain, like, hey, kind of sucks that the iPhone does something that the Mac doesn't, and it doing it is actually making the phone worse. Also, what's up with USB 2? Still pretty peeved about that. And just for shits and giggles, I plugged in my iPhone to see if I could just even navigate the same way, and it doesn't work the same way. So I know I used to know how to do it, but I feel like it's merging iTunes, or at least the way the iTunes used to look, with music, also with the file system. So Apple doesn't want you to use the iPhone like a computer. So you plug it in, you're like, hey, I should be able to drag and drop stuff to it. And I'm sure even when you click files, it shows one thing. And I know there's more stuff on there, obviously, and you just can't navigate the file structure the same way that you can on a non-iPhone. So it's just an all-around degraded experience, unfortunately.